right, what's up, Alabama fans? It's Andrew Bone with BamaInsider.com. Got a special guest on our show this evening, Terrion Arnold, Alabama signee. Terrion, what's going on, man? How you doing?
How you doing, man? I'm doing good.
Well, I know you're counting down the days to get to Tuscaloosa. How excited are you about the future there?
Man, I'm really excited, and I'm really looking forward to just playing in that environment and being around those great people.
I bet, man. Were you able to catch the spring game?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. What'd you think?
I think kind of like what highlighted the spring game was definitely when Najee Harris came out with his road to the pros thing, and when he talked about how practices at Bama and the competition there, oftentimes it felt better than the game. And just seeing that in the spring game and watching how Nick talks and even kind of seeing him mic'd up and then even talking to him after the game, I think it really got me excited to be a part of that program.
Now, I'll ask you in a minute, what ultimately led you to your decision. But, seeing Alabama sign 4 Rivals 100 wide receivers, did that have any effect on, knowing that you'd be going up against that type of level of competition every single day?
Oh, most definitely. Devontae Smith went with Pat, and even just Jalen Waddle, certain guys like that. Just being in that atmosphere, when I saw that and even heard about it, and of course, I think 3 of those guys, if I'm not mistaken, they're from Florida. So just being from Florida and having kind of that, as I would say, man, just we kind of carry ourselves different as being from Florida and being athletes from Florida. So having that swagger, I feel like practices will be very, very competitive.
There's a lot of Florida guys in your recruiting class. Is that something that you looked at? Were there any of those guys that were trying to recruit you to Bama when you were trying to get ready to make that decision?
Yeah. Dallas was, and well, we call him 6.
Christian.
Yeah, Christian Laird. Laird. Yeah, I just talked to him today. Actually, it was definitely Dallas and Christian Laird. So.
Well, obviously, if you guys are already up in Tuscaloosa in your recruiting class, what's been the feedback from those guys on how spring practice and workouts and everything have been going?
Just the word that I've been getting is, man, it's the real deal. It's no facades, no fake about it. And when I come, just be ready to work. If you're ready to work, then you'll be fine. If you don't like working, then this ain't a place for you.
I want to go back a little bit because I remember it was 2 football seasons ago when you took a visit to Alabama. It was kind of mid-season. I can't remember exactly which game. You probably remember which game. It was one of your first visits to Alabama. And I interviewed you after that game, and I thought to myself, this guy's definitely, he's an Alabama guy in terms of he's an Alabama target. This is going to be a guy that Alabama's going to recruit for a very long time. You talk about, that long road with Alabama and, kind of how they recruited you throughout the process.
Well, I got my offer. Alabama was like one of my first early offers. It's the way they offered me. I talked to Coach Saban, and he said he watched my film. He was very impressed, but he didn't offer me. And then Coach Kelly, he surprised me at my school. He came to my school. It was actually on a Friday. This was after the season, so I was preparing for basketball. He came to my school, and he offered me in person, and then he came and watched me play basketball. And after he watched me play basketball, we chatted it up, and he was like, "You sure that you want to play football?" I was like, "What you mean by that, Coach?" He was like, "I'm telling you, man, you might need to stick with basketball." So just being around him, Coach Kelly and I, we go way back from the time he was at Florida State. He'll tell you if you talk to him the first time I ever met him or ever saw him, he was right next to Jalen Ramsey, and I was just being myself talking to Jalen Ramsey. I was like, "Man, I'll take you right now. I'll do you in," and not knowing Jalen was getting ready to get drafted 5th overall that year, but just the competitive spirit and competitive nature being in me, and even being around Coach Kelly, it's a blessing for me to be able to play for him and even work with him one-on-one. So when they offered me, he told me that, and then Coach Sal came and saw me about 2 weeks later, and I wasn't even ranked then at the time. He was just like, "Man, you're Bama material. I guarantee you the next time I see you, you'll probably be a 5-star." And then I didn't get to see him again due to COVID protocol, but when I got my 5th star, he called me on the phone. He was like, "What I told you." So just even that, just them knowing,
right,
and just seeing it because they've been doing it for so long, and really the main thing that kind of led me to them was just them recruiting me. It was never anything like them trying to sell anything. It was always like, hey, man, if you feel like you can come to Bama, if you feel like you're that type of material to compete with the best of the best, then this is the place for you. If not, then, I mean, we'll just have to part ways. So it's kind of like that.
It was kind of in terms of us as recruiting writers and trying to make these predictions all the time as to where recruits are going to go to school. It kind of seemed like a roller coaster ride, at least for us, because people are asking us every single day, is Terrion going to Georgia? Is he going to Alabama? Is he going to Florida? So we're, all of us are trying to be careful as to what we say. But was it a pretty big roller coaster ride for you, really trying to figure out who was going to be that school? Because it seemed really close between those programs, especially with Alabama and Georgia in the end.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call it a roller coaster. Actually, even during my recruiting process, just seeing all the articles and seeing the stories that were coming out about me, I oftentimes just laid in my bed and laughed because I was like, dang, man, I ain't say this, or I ain't even said nothing. So I took my recruiting kind of like a business approach. I was careful what I said, careful who I even talked to.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll notice, like even from Alabama, I only talked to you and Hank.
Yeah.
Just certain guys like that. I just kind of mapped everything out and really took a business approach. So even for like some people saying, man, he's indecisive or he's this and that, I'm just sitting back like, man, they're calling me indecisive, but I haven't even said anything. So I think it kind of caught a lot of people off guard because I wasn't coming out and talking like most kids do. I just kind of sat back and really took mine like a business approach. But towards the end, it was definitely Georgia and Alabama, and I didn't make my decision till the week before. I talked to Coach Saban literally that Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday I was signing. But he was just like, man, like people were saying they ain't have a spot, but just talking to Coach Saban the whole time because he knew I was gonna take it. As a child, I've always said I was gonna take it all the way out to February 3rd. I've always said that, and just him just saving that spot and recruiting me for that whole year and a half. Just kind of really showed me. And other schools, they did that also, but just even for them and then knowing that spots were filling up, but he's not letting kids come and saving that spot for me, I was like, man, I really, 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 really am fortunate to be in this position. So I said, if I can compete with the best, why not join them? So
when did you tell the Alabama coaches that it was going to be them, and or was it on signing day when they finally knew?
They finally knew on signing day. I don't tell Coach Saban.
So tell me, what ultimately pushed Alabama over the edge for you?
What really pushed me over the edge, I would have to say, is hold on, let me think about my answer before I say this.
All right.
Really, what really pushed me over the edge was just kind of talking to Ronnie Harrison, because I worked out with him, and then him being from Florida, he was just like me, huge diehard Florida State fan. Although he didn't have the opportunity to go to Florida State because they didn't offer him, but I had the opportunity. But just kind of him just telling me about the business side, and then even when Nick came out there and he said he wouldn't stop coaching anytime soon, and he would just keep coaching until he became, I think the word that he used, I said, until he became, I would say like wait. Oh, he said until I was like I'm trying to find the right word. I'm a very like intellectual person. I like to use like the right words. Well, I just say until he brought the program down or became like a weight or burden on the program.
Yeah.
But just him telling me that and him saying, man, this is kind of like the Bobby Bowden of this era in today's world or in our recruiting class. That's kind of like what really brought me over the top. And then just seeing how deep and loaded their DBs were, their receivers, that like motivated me. Like, although a lot of people would say, man, you're not getting ready to play, you're not getting ready to do this. Well, it's college football. The best player on the field plays. So
obviously you took it all the way down until signing day. COVID just really kind of screwed things up for so many recruits. You didn't get a chance to take official visits, and I know you wanted to make the best informed decision for yourself and for your family. Well, how tough was it for you going through that whole process without really being able to take official visits?
I think it was a good and a bad thing. The reason why I say it was a bad thing is obviously you want to take your official visits. Everybody says, man, you get treated like royalty. That's the one time you actually get treated like you're there and you're like the main guy, and it makes it seem like every school wants you. And I would say it was a good thing because it kind of took all the fluff out of recruiting. Recruiting has like a lot of fluff in it, and ultimately a lot of kids can make decisions based off of emotions. So it really took the emotions out, and I really had to analyze the best decision for me. And just being able to sit down, make a paper trail, view this, view that. I mean, like schools talked about looking at depth charts. I didn't look at any depth charts because I feel I'm good enough or better than the next man in front of me. So I ain't do none of that. But just as even looking at track records of school, looking at what I want to major in and certain things like that, that's what kind of brought me over the top.
Now, Alabama coming off another national championship. I'm sure you watched that game against Ohio State. Did that game open up your eyes a little bit more about Alabama, or did you already know in your head that was where you wanted to
go? It didn't really open up my eyes at all because I kind of felt like the national championship game was when they played against Florida. Ohio had only won 7 games. So,
tell us all, what have you been doing, post National Signing Day?
I don't want to let y'all know all that I've been doing, but I'll just let you in on a little bit of my daily training. I wake up in the morning. I have lifting at around 5, 6 o'clock. I go to school. Then I get out of school at 11 o'clock, and I go to my speed training. So I go to my speed training, and after that, I go put up shots, get my basketball workout in. And then by that time, I have my 7-period class, which is my final class. And after that, I have track practice. And then I go to my last workout of the day, which will be lifting and stability. So I've been working extremely hard, just trying to get myself kind of accustomed to how the college environment is going to be. A lot of people saying, like, you can't play both sports, you can't do that. Well, I mean, my old high school basketball coach was Charlie Ward. So he kind of motivated me and taught me a lot about that and how the doubters are going to say this and say that. But it really just fuels you, and ultimately you can do what you put your mind to.
Well, let's talk about basketball a little bit. Coach Nate Oates, took the team to the Sweet 16 this year. Have you had a good opportunity to, speak with him, speak with one of the guys on the staff about, what they kind of envision for your future?
Talking to the staff, man, they just said I'm kind of gonna have to work double time. The freshman basketball report when I report in football too, so I'll be going to football practice and then going to basketball after that. I've been going over the offense, learning the plays, learning the defensive plays with Coach Hudson on Zoom calls. I've also been doing the same thing in football with Coach Kelly. So my future with them is kind of like, man, it is what I make it. Like,
let's talk about Coach Kelly. Kind of what they're expecting out of you with Alabama. Are they expecting safety? Are they expecting corner? Are they going to let you try out both, or what are your expectations?
Right now, my expectations are learn all 3 positions. So I've been learning safety, star, and corner. It's kind of been like I'm working more at learning corner and working more at learning star as of right now. Coach Saban, Coach Kelly kind of let me in on like a meeting that they had, even just talking about me and JaQuincy, just the ability to play early. And he just told me to really just come in, and if I do, opportunity will come. So I've been looking at that approach.
I feel like I don't know if y'all have met before, but I feel like you and Kool-Aid, y'all already have a pretty close connection with each other.
Yeah. I talked to him before he committed with Bama, and he kind of talked to me and recruited me before time. So you heard me?
Yeah. I got you.
Okay.
Now tell me what's your current height and weight?
Right now I'm 6'2", 195.
All right, man. And I know you're eager to get to Tuscaloosa, and you mentioned to me off the camera that you're probably going to either room with Kool-Aid or Devontae Smith, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, what about your recruiting class? You guys got one of the best recruiting classes of all time. This class, can you guys live up to the expectations?
Man, I think we're going to exceed expectations, to be honest with you. We got the best coach in America and the best staff in America and the best fans.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, anything you want to say to Alabama fans before we get you off of here?
I just wanted to say, man, y'all tune in when I get there, man. It's gonna be a show.
All right, man. Terrion Arnold, we appreciate you coming on our show this evening. We're really looking forward to watching your career in Tuscaloosa. Best of luck to you, and we'll see you in Tuscaloosa here pretty soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bone.